following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. We have breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble and trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. So make sure you get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com by using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Once again, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com.
Yeah, I know that.
What is up, fam? We are back, episode 23 here on Combat Deviants. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle. On to the right of me is the man himself, the myth, the legend, Mr. Evil Eddie. How are we doing tonight, Evil?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to see my good friend down there on the bottom. It's been a long journey, long road.
Man, we definitely have a fun one lined up for everyone tonight as we're getting things kicked right off and being joined by the Hurricane himself, Mr. Ian. How do we pronounce that last name? I don't want to butcher it.
Heiniosch.
Like Heimlich?
No, like Heininisch.
Heininisch. All right.
Heininisch, yes, sir.
Heininisch.
I'm on my niche right now. That's a bunch of niche, right?
Super niche.
So listen, man, I got to jump right into things. I missed you, bro. It's been a minute since I've even seen you inside the octagon, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, man, it's been a battle for me, you know, health-wise and injuries. And, you know, after my last fight, my thyroid was all messed up. I was all gaining a bunch of weight, and the weight cut was super hard before that. Just my levels were all messed up. I felt super lethargic. And after that fight, I went back in the sparring, got hit with a good head kick, and just had like a residual concussion, man. Probably came back too early from that fight and sparred hard, and then tried to kind of push through it. But the head stuff is not an injury you try to push through like most other injuries you can. And it just kept getting worse, man. And I've done everything I can in the past year and a half since I've fought. I've been to Mexico, Cellular Performance Institute twice, getting stem cells. You know, I thought when I've got in the UFC, man, from fighting, knocking out a guy for the LFA belt, then fighting for Contender Series, getting the knockout, then 2 short notice fights, and then fought Brunson. You know, I fought like 6 fights within like just over a year. And, you know, it just banged my body up. And I went down to Cellular Performance Institute. I said, man, just x-ray everything. I had a fractured wrist. I had a partially torn labrum. So I just got stem cells everywhere. I got 50 million stem cells in my brain stem twice.
Wow.
To try to just kind of get rid of the concussion stuff and just the residual headaches and fogginess. And so I've been going, man. I've been spending tens of thousands of dollars on recovery, and I got a really good recovery guy here in Colorado, that's the reason I'm here. I live in Florida, but I'm here in Colorado because I got more resources and just training partners that know how to take care of me. They've known me my whole career. So, you know, that's the reason, man. You know, I'm pretty bummed about it. I've done everything in my will. I've spent, you know, honestly, I'm going to win this fight, you know, in April or May. That's what I'm looking. That's what's on the radar. That's what I'm working for. And I'm probably going to break even from all the treatments that I've done, you know. But, I mean, it is what it is. If I can get on a roll and be healthy, it's all worth it to me. So it's just been a battle, man, battle of injuries and, you know, probably hard weight cuts. I've been wrestling since I was 13.
Wow.
I did a bunch of drug use. I really wrecked my body in my early 20s, just with like crazy addictions, like Steve-O status. And I got into fighting 26 years old, and I just didn't stop, 4-0 as an amateur and 15 fights as pro. And, so it's like, it's just catching up with me a little bit.
So I definitely want to touch on the past. I mean, all of us know your story. You're just bringing it up and what has happened, in your early 20s up until now, and the breakdown of your body when you don't really understand at a young age what's going to happen to you. I want to touch on that. I want to touch on your story, but I just want to ask you something. You were saying, it was a hard weight cut and, the head kick and everything. So recently we found out that apparently you were able to use IVs to hydrate after a weight cut. Were you fully aware of the extent that you were able to recuperate after a weight cut when they told us you could not have IV hydration? Were you aware that you could?
No, I don't think you can. I mean, you can to a certain amount, but you can't over 1,000 milliliter.
Yeah.
So you are aware, because everyone is up in arms about Islam and Ali Abdelaziz kind of throwing it out there that, Islam was able to get the IV, and a lot of fighters came out saying we weren't fully aware of that. And you say up to a certain amount, Ian, but they're saying if a doctor agrees for more, you can actually get more than the limit. But
here's the other side of that. Even if you do get more, then they could take you out of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're just risking it, man. Like even taking like vitamins and stuff like that, like leading up to the fight. If it's not whatever it's called, approved, NSA approved or whatever, I forget the exact term. If you take something and it has a substance in it, you get popped. So is it really worth to take that vitamin? And it's just like you're flirting with the line. And honestly, they would probably never know if you did IV. How are they going to test that you did an IV? Plastic particles, they say. I drink out of a freaking gallon every day. You're telling me I'm not drinking plastic particles? So at the same time, they would probably never know. But it's also you're risking everything you've worked for an IV, for a vitamin. Is it worth it? At the end of the day, because if something did happen, someone snitched or somehow they tested it, it's like, that would be devastating.
So I actually got the screenshots here. Is that it right there?
Oh, I seen what Ollie was saying. In other words,
IVs used to treat severe dehydrations caused by cutting weight are not really banned, as long as the physician is the only one to justify and perform it. I sought further clarification, and here's the bottom line. If an athlete is administered an IV more than permitted 100 milliliters, as long as it's done by a licensed pro, it is not a violation. Even cases where dehydration caused by weight cut is the issue being treated. So I just wanted to know if you were fully aware of all of that.
Well, let me tell you something. I would have totally took advantage of that. My wife's a nurse. She's she's an RN and she's in functional medicine, and they do a lot of IVs. And but on the flip side of that, I haven't fought in front of a crowd. I fought at the freaking Apex.
Yeah.
And they lock us in that hotel like a jail. And how are we going to go see a physician? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like right after weigh-ins, you got to go do your COVID test and quarantine, basically. So obviously things are different now. Back in the day, I definitely would have done it. But I don't know how nowadays. And when you're at a normal fight, you're at your hotel, you could go to a doctor, you can go to your physician, you can go, my wife can come and give me an IV. I would have definitely took advantage of that. Cause I'm telling you guys, like I put on like 15, 20 pounds out of nowhere.
Wow.
And it didn't even like, it just felt like it was like water. Like now I'm like skinnier. I'm like swole still. Like I'm thick and I'm still a little bit heavy, but like, it was like a weird weight and I felt lethargic. Like, I mean, bro, like you're seeing a lot of these fighters with like getting issues after fighting, obviously Rumble, he didn't know really what was going on with him.
Man, that I couldn't imagine that. I met Rumble a few times. One, once as a fan at UFC 101. Met him at World Series of Fighting 2 before his first big fight that he had there, and just watching the physical difference in just looking at him from when he first got to the UFC to UFC 101 to when he went off the World Series of Fighting and then came back as a light heavyweight. It was just going through all that and then finding out like the medical conditions that he had underlying. So like if he's going through all that being in the UFC during that time, like how didn't we find out like something was going on for him? Or is it one of those things that he did find out? It's just because of the Hippocratic oath that you don't really hear what was going on and he kept it to himself.
Like Elias. Yeah.
I mean, listen, man, I don't know exactly what it was. I was talking to him a lot because we both were dealing with medical issues, and I was training at Sanford and he's down there, and I watched his body transform. And, a lot of fighters have stomach stuff. I had stomach stuff as well. And because we're always in fight and flight, so that blood leaves our stomach, and it's like we just don't get good blood flow there because every single day we're in fight and flight, and obviously weight cuts and just how we go from like full on extreme healthy to cutting weight to cutting out water, and then we just like gorge for a week. I try to keep that to a minimum, but it's hard because you've worked so hard and now you have time off, money. You're just like, let me just eat and celebrate and eat. Fighters are mostly have addiction problems and they go overboard.
But one of the things I always ask you guys is is like, hey, well, what's your guilty pleasure afterwards, man? After weigh-ins, after the fight,
they all go hard.
It's one of my questions because it's like the I guess the commonly known thing, and I guess there is like I guess you could say it's an addiction or whatever, but it's just you put in all that hard work, you sacrifice 6-8 weeks, whatever it is to the camp.
Yeah.
You should be able to go eat whatever you want. I'm not sitting there saying like,
but after a weight cut,
you'll have a full spread or something. But you know what I mean. I know you want a steak or something like that. You should go have a steak.
But after a weight cut, your stomach's wrecked. And like to talk about like a thyroid too. I don't know if you've seen King Mo.
That's a big one. People don't talk about Mo.
Yeah, he's fighting it hard. And I'm blessed, man. I got 2 treatments down at CPI, and I'm off my thyroid medication. So I need to keep like monitoring it. But I think it's like
again, he was also stuck in this fact that he never made it to the UFC, so he didn't get access to some of those things. Like as much as like we talk about like people are in this thing right now where it's you're either pro UFC or con UFC. I just sit there and think it's still a learning process when we're talking about combat sports. We haven't gotten to the level of care that everyone needs to get when we're talking about promoter to athlete. We're still in the infancy stage of the sport, regardless if we want to admit it or not. We're still in the first 30 years. Boxing's been around forever, and they still don't got it figured out.
Yeah.
It's a discouraging thing in some senses, but the strides that combat sports has taken over just in the past 10, regardless of where it was when it first started, I think we're trending in the right direction. It's just we want everything now. Like I think like I was sitting there saying right before you got on there, I think all you guys should be taken care of in a certain way by your promoter, and it's just not happening yet. Regardless of what happens between now and then, for that to change, regardless if it's within your generational fight or if it's in the next generation, something needs to change when it comes to some of the stuff.
Let me ask this, Ian. So very smart of you, by the way, to take the 2 years off, right? Very smart. You understand that you needed to get, healthy again. A head injury is nothing to joke about. You took 2 years time away, nice and rested. Did the UFC reach out to you in that time and want you to get in there and fight? And did you tell them, what was going on with you and that you needed time? And if so, did they respond and try to push you to get in there, or did they understand that? Like, what was going on here? Were they fully aware? Or?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I have a great relationship with Mick Maynard, and that's my boy. So he's been super cool with me, man. He's like, hey, take the time what you need. Like I just want you to get better. And so he's 100%. The UFC's been good to me in that sense. you know, I mean, I've had to pay out of pocket for these treatments and stuff, but it's kind of like extra, you know. I mean, it's not. I mean, the thing about concussions, like you go get a CAT scan and they look at your head, they're like, oh, you're fine, but they can't measure a concussion. So I've had to go like to holistic stuff, like brain mapping, McWhorter chiropractic and neurology here in Colorado. We do stuff like gyro stem. They spin you in a machine. They have this thing where you're looking at a thing and you're hitting lights as it goes up, and they literally rehabbing the brain. There's like they hook electrodes up to your head. You're watching a TV screen. When you're focused, it lights up and makes noises. And then when you like lose focus, it goes dark. So you have to like stay dialed in for like 15 minutes, and then you do it with your eyes closed. And, you know, this stuff's not cheap, but man, this stuff's really helped me. And, you know, that's why I'm here in Colorado, man. This is like, I'm going all in, you know. I feel like I'm healed, and God willing, man, I'm looking to get a fight April or May, probably early May. And, you know, make my run. Cause you know, I was up there with the big dogs, you know, competing and you know, it kind of just declined as my health declined, and I had to step back and be like, what's going on? And going back to your question, the UFC was very good. My manager, Jason House, has a good relationship.
One of the best. One of the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. And it's funny, these guys are trying to promote crypto because that's kind of what's kept me afloat financially.
Really?
I started getting sponsored by some crypto projects. I started a show, Sound AI. And, you know, I have a show called Shill Tank. It's like Shark Tank. These projects bring on, they come in, they pitch to us, and we roast them, or we invest in them, or we, you know, so I mean, it's cool. It's, you know, most fighters, you know, I'm a survivor, man. Like if you knew my life story, I make it happen. And
as soon as Eddie said I lined this up, he's like, oh my God. He's like, he's got the greatest story ever. I can't wait to talk to Ian.
Yeah, Ian, for all the new listeners here, because over the years I realized people are trashing some of the biggest legends out there, like, and they haven't seen the stories and unfolded. Like Ben Askren, everyone looked at his UFC career, but they weren't there for Ben Askren's rise up until the UFC, and they're like, "Oh, he was the worst fighter in the UFC." You weren't there. So for the people who were not there and didn't get to hear your story, man, it's one of the best, one that I can totally relate with. Can you kind of briefly touch on where you came from and how you got to the UFC? Because a lot of our listeners are people out there struggling to get through the day, struggling for their dreams, because we're always being told you can't do that. It's out of reach. You'll never get there. And then you find yourself in a position and you feel stuck. And you say, man, I'm at this age. There's no way I'm going to be able to get to my dream. And then you get locked up and you're like, bro, life's over. This is my life now. I got to start talking like this. I got to, you know, I came from down the road and I just got to do construction. But you took a completely other path, and you were like the grown-up Home Alone. You got the grown-up Home Alone story, man. So how did this happen, man? You were a young kid and you got involved with moving some weight of some chemicals.
Yeah. I'll give you a short version. I probably got 20 more minutes. So I'm going to give you guys a short version of, you know, I grew up in Colorado, good wrestler, crazy amount of energy, just, you know, just starting to get in trouble at school. And, you know, I needed an outlet, and my parents put me in wrestling, but I still continue to get in trouble at school. So they took me to the doctor. Doctor said, hey, you have ADD, ADHD, blah, blah, blah. You need Adderall. Well, I come from a long line of addiction. My dad, my uncles, my cousins all have addiction problems. So instantly hooked. It led to drinking, marijuana, ecstasy, coke, all these hard drugs at a very young age. Started selling. In all this time, still won 2 state championships, took second at Ironman, Tournament of Champions, 4-time All-American, few-time national champ. Like, just, you know, I was doing it. And then senior year, got expelled from high school, and still took 4th at senior nationals, got full ride scholarships offered to me, took one to Northern Idaho, just an opportunity that I blew, drank it away, chasing an addiction, completely controlled by it. Came back to Colorado, ground zero, you know, Went out to Canada. A girl invited me to go out to prom with her out there that I went to high school with. She moved out there. Ended up getting a job doing door-to-door sales, $2,000 to $4,000 a week, making good money. Got into some big trouble over there. Got locked up for 6 months, all alcohol related, always the common denominator. And got deported from Canada. Came back, linked up with some Guatemalans, and they started sending me shipments of ecstasy and started hitting the raves and doing all that scene. And about 8 months into that, set up in a Walmart parking lot, pistol to the dome on the ground, staring at the sign, drug task force. Posted bail, had about a couple $1,000 after they seized like 30 grand, a couple of thousand more pills, all this stuff. They took it all. And I hopped on a Greyhound, said goodbye to my family in Indiana, hopped on a train from Chicago to New York, said goodbye, and JFK to Amsterdam with about $2,000 in my pocket. I didn't know anyone. And, you know, I was just a young kid on the run, 19 years old, fully chasing an addiction and just living as lost as a young kid could live. And, you know, I was just like, let's backpack Europe, made my way to Belgium. My cousin had a friend out there. I stayed with him, had a job there for a while, made my way to England, stayed there for a while, hated it, just tried selling drugs there, didn't work out. Then I made my way to the Canary Islands, Spain. Got a job on the first day at a club, making 8 drinks when I worked, 4 drinks when I got off. And after 3 months of this full-blown alcoholic, couldn't even afford 30 euros for a cockroach-infested room, bed in a room with 15 other guys. And I was sleeping on the beach. I was park benches, friends' couches. I was homeless. I was rock bottom. And some Colombians said, hey, gringo, let's make some real money. Or they said, first they said, hey, move in with us, man. You know, we see potential. We want you to live with us, get sober. So I appreciated that. It was like family to me. And then he sat me down. He's like, hey, let's go make some real money. And I was like, yeah, let's go.
Get in some real trouble.
Get some real trouble. Start taking trips to Venezuela, Aruba, Colombia, you know, swallowing a kilo of Coke, bringing it back and forth. You know, after like 15 trips, I got too many stamps in my passport. It was in the Spanish airport. They were, you know, looking over. They're like, what are you doing? And they let me go. My girlfriend came. She confirmed she was there picking me up. They followed us to the parking garage. Boom, they jumped on us. And, you know, it was drug task force. Took us to the hospital, freaking x-rayed our stomachs, found the coke. And I sat in prison for 1 year. And there's times in your life when you're like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But it turns out that was the best thing that could ever happen to you. So if you're struggling with that,
hit bottom before you can pick yourself up again.
Absolutely. And I, you know, in prison, I found God. God started working in my life. There was a wrestling program. It took 3 months to get in. I walked to the coach, showed him my cauliflower. He's like, let's go. Fell back in love with wrestling. They had a crazy style wrestling called Lucha Canaria, who actually my coach was Juan Espino, who is Juan Espino, who's in the UFC's father, which is crazy. And, you know, it was crazy. I did kickboxing. I learned to speak Spanish. I got reformed in there. And after 2.5 years, I got shipped to the north of Spain, Con Aired. I'd boxed there, and then I got sent back. I finally did 2 years and 5 or 6 months, and my sentence got cut by 2/3 because I said I wouldn't come back. I agreed. I signed a paper. I wouldn't come back to Europe for 5 years. So they speeded up my sentence a little bit, and they sent me back. But New York got caught up right away. Boom, threw me in Jamaica Queens jailhouse, and then they sent me to Rikers Island for a couple months until I got picked up. Probably the hardest part of that whole stint was Rikers, for sure, hands down. And finally, I got extradited back to Colorado. Drove in a bus like this for 12 days, shackled like that, treated like a complete animal, and made my way to Colorado. 2014, Valentine's Day, posted bail, got out. I knew the common denominator was alcohol. I knew I had to stay away. I went 4-0 as an amateur, and then I went 8-0 as a professional. I got to the LFA title. You say you win this fight, everything you've been working for, you're going to the UFC, you lose, you're in the back of the line. Well, a year before that, I tore my LCL before a fight, went to the doctor. He said, hey, here's 40 Percocet. Instantly hooked, man. I started doing Oxy.
I didn't even know it.
Started smoking it, sniffing it, buying it, going to
remember
Mexico.
I used to smoke those beans, bro. Slide it down the tin foil, bro.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The blues,
So
man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you're just taking me back to my teenage years with all the delinquents I used to hang out with.
Yeah, man. I mean, that stuff's a lot of people don't make it.
Nah, there's not many. There's 3 common things that happen. You're either in the ground, you're in jail, or what?
You're in rehab.
Or you recover.
Yeah.
And so I went out that fight that I was supposed to win, main event, lost it. Just when you're not living right outside the cage, it always shows in the cage. And I took that really hard, man. That was my first loss in 12 fights. You know, your very first loss is always your hardest. I had been going to church. I had been going to Bible study, but I had living as a hypocrite because I was doing drugs. I was messing around with women. I just wasn't living right. But I would go to church just to feel good. And we went on this camping trip, and I did all this. I chopped wood till my hands bled. We went on this hike. My buddy followed me. I almost killed him. I just wanted to hurt myself, man. I was so mad. And we had this Bible study. We opened it up, and it really tested us. It was like, it was basically saying we weren't saved, and we got offended. And we realized, man, we're living as hypocrites. And then and there, man, I made the decision to fully surrender my life to God and follow and live for him, and got baptized the next week. The water looked black to me clear when I walked in. I swear when I looked back, it looked black. And I felt like God was like, there's your sin and your addiction dead. And since that day, man, I went 4-0, all knockouts in the UFC right after that. At that time I was broke. I was living in my buddy's basement. I had no girlfriend. I never paid taxes in my life. I was 27. And since that time, I met my wife, got married, bought a house, got in the UFC, and broke into the top 10 in the UFC, was ranked number 9. And that was just a year later, man. So it was a huge transformation. And I thank God every day for that. And obviously, you know, it's when you give your life to God, it's not just sunshine and rainbows. It's not just easy. It actually is probably going to get harder, but you don't do it alone. You go in there with God, and he leads you. And so, so it's been a confusing time these past, year and a half, 2 years since I fought, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm still called to fight. I feel like my platform's still there, but my body just hasn't been healing like I should. But I'm grateful that crypto's opened the door where I can afford to go to Mexico twice at Cellular Performance Institute. All these treatments are not cheap. And so I'm thankful for crypto. Look at all these lunatics trying to show me some crypto.
They're all over in here.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you guys, man. They love the show, and it's
what about this one? You ever fought Conor McGregor? I don't think people realize the weight difference here.
I wish, man. I'd be paid right now.
That's a paycheck right there, right?
Win or lose, man.
He keeps talking about going up in weight. I'm sure Ian be like, I'll take him in at 85. Let's go.
Ian, you know what, bro? I didn't realize you knew how to speak Spanish. I would love for you to be in there on your next fight and then just do some dish and just start speaking Spanish. Just start yelling at the dude in Spanish in the middle of the fight. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool. My UFC debut was on 6 days' notice against Cesar Ferreira in Argentina. So I literally found out and had to jump on a flight, flew down to Argentina, and I was like, gracias por toda la gente latino para apoyarme. And I just let it go after, and everyone went crazy, man. So that was like full circle, man. It's crazy how my UFC career has been, obviously since COVID. And that's what I hate, bro. I seriously I'm glad the Apex is there, whatever, but walking out and it's like, you got your coaches like that. I'm like, man, am I sparring? What's going on? I like the crowd. I like the energy. And the places I fought is Argentina. And then I was going to the O2.
The craziest bunch of fans you'll ever come across.
Yeah. So it was like a full circle. I went to South America. Then I went to New York, the last place I was at, Rochester. I fought there. Then I went to London. And, what's his name walked away. He left that day. My opponent, He was known to do it. The British guy. He got in his car, shut his phone off, and drove away on fight day.
Wow.
So I didn't get to fight him, but he had mental health issues, so I'm not hating on him. But it was cool. I was back in Europe, and I went back to Spain after that and saw everyone, and I was like in the UFC. So it was like
so how did that work? Since it obviously had been 5 years, right?
Yeah. Oh, it was hard too because like they didn't know if I could fight, and like because they didn't know if the 5 years was up, and I had to find the lawyer that did my case, and he wouldn't talk, and he's like, I'm not going to talk until you pay me. And the UFC's
where I heard that one before.
The UFC's like, yeah, right.
Heard that one before.
The UFC's like, we will pay you. We are the UFC. Give us the information, and we will pay you. And he was like, no, this and that, and I was like, I had to call some boys to roll up in his office and like get those papers. So we got those papers. So it was like,
to go shake him down.
my coach didn't even come because he didn't know I was gonna fight because the fight was on, fight was off, fight was on, fight was off. Finally, we got the papers, and Mick was like, "I'll just take a chance, man. Just come to freaking England, to London." And then it was it was the O2 Arena, and then Tom Breeze was his name. He didn't. It was like an hour before we're supposed to go to the venue. They called me. They're like, "Your opponent's injured," and then I heard later he wasn't injured. He just left. But
that's a crazy story right there. That's a crazy Ian. Yeah. So inspiring, bro. Like then you're like ready to fight, and your opponent just takes off. It's just like what the?
Yeah, like, it's crazy.
But man, I really wanted to thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We got to get you back on right after your fight, bro. Because I can tell, Ian, how anxious you are to want to get back in there. But you're also playing it really smart, man. And I want to say thank you for that because I want to see you in the UFC for a long time. I want to follow you. And I've seen so many people that I've interviewed, get injured and then want to get right back in there for a short notice fight. And then it doesn't work out their way. And then once you're out of the UFC, it's harder to get back in, So I want to thank you so much because you're such an inspiration. We want to see you do the best you can. So with that being said.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. A lot of people don't understand that. And, I'm blessed to have some income. So I'm not just like throwing myself out there. And I do want to be in the UFC a while. My wrestling feels better than it's ever had. My striking feels good. It's like, everything from the neck down feels great. Now this thing just needs to be good, and I think it is, man. I think all these.
I think you're in the right place. You're in the right place here, and then your body's finally catching up to everything else. I'm really looking forward to when you get back in there. Hopefully, you get some good names and put a few wins together and get this run going again.
Yeah, for all the young fighters out there, let your body heal after fights, especially because. Your body can heal. You can take damage and your body can heal. What it can't do is get really wrecked and not let it heal and then do it again. So, all the young fighters and just anyone out there struggling, man, wherever you're at, you're never too young. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. I got told all these things and I looked up to God. I said, what's my path? He called me to that. And I knew nothing could stop me. Even though I started MMA when I was 26, even though I was a drug addict for 7 years, even though I was in prison for almost 3 years, nothing could stop me because I felt that calling from God. So find your calling, put that work in, silence the noise and all the haters and all the doubters and the people that want to pull you down because they feel self-conscious because they see you following your calling and walking in that. And God bless you all, man. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate your time, Ian. What we typically do as we send you along your way, anyone you'd like to thank, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you may have, anything you wanna say to the people before you go. The time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It is Ian Heiniosch MMA. And I appreciate everyone that's stuck with me, all the long-term fans that have been with me. Because just been patient because it's like I wish you guys knew how hard I've been working to get back in there for myself, for you guys, for my family, for all the people that believed in me from when I was nobody, when I was just a freaking broke con that got out of prison. So I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'm putting in all that work. Shout out to Sound AI crew. You guys came in here deep today. And yeah, guys, if you're into crypto, you want to learn, come check out our show on Twitter every 11 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Friday. It's called Shill Tank, and come pitch your project, as well as the Crypto Kings live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Yeah, check out my Twitter, guys, for sure. So, and I appreciate you guys for getting me on. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. And
it's definitely our pleasure.
Let's do another one after I go get this win.
Absolutely, definitely, Ian. Appreciate the time. Hopefully, you get some announcements soon. As soon as you get in there, get the win or a loss. Well, don't matter either way. We love talking to you, my friend. We'll catch up and see how it felt.
That win, bro. I'm getting.
It's definitely going to be a win.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that win. But I appreciate it.
I'm going to be the biggest fan of your show, bro. So I'll be in the chat on that show.
Man. Yeah, learn some crypto, man. The bull run's coming.
Hey, I got it. I
got it, man. Absolutely.
We'll talk more crypto next time.
All right. Sounds good, man.
God bless.
All right. God bless
everyone. That was Ian. And without any further ado, we are being joined by the Atombomb herself, Miss Jayme Hinshaw, fresh off of a 38-second. We're saying, it's technically a doctor stoppage, is it not? I mean, yeah. They're saying, "Oh, she fractured her ankle." I'm like, "Well, that's not a stoppage."
Yeah, they called it off. She even called it off. She kind of fell wrong due to me hitting her pretty hard, so I think she got the Bambi legs.
Oh yeah, she was definitely on roller skates, and I just think what happened, one of those things where you're trying to get yourself and keep yourself standing, and then her foot rolled the wrong way, and now it's over. But really, on the other side of it, kudos to her for trying to reset it and still staying back up. Bravo.
That's what me and Steve were in awe about, Jayme. It was crazy because we were in the middle of doing the show, right? And we're trying to watch your fight at the same time. And Steve was like, dude, did you just see that? He was like, this girl's freaking leg was sideways and she just fixed it and got back up like it was nothing. And we were just like, oh my God. We were going nuts, Jayme.
That's what we say. BKFC fighters are just a different breed.
And then on top of it, after our interview, you went out there and knocked your opponent out a couple months ago. That was
her debut.
And we were in the middle of an interview.
She took out Miss Rob.
Just like you said.
So she's now 2-0 in BKFC. Obviously it's a fun time right now.
Yeah.
You got the first 2 wins under your belt. Obviously, absolutely no damage. So I'm sure you're knocking on Dave's door, be like, "We're next week. What's up?"
Yeah, I would love to be in there as soon as possible. Like you said, I had no damage taken, so yeah, I'm ready for the next one.
It's unbelievable.
Who are you looking for? Like, obviously, it is a real exciting time. Britain's going to be defending her title soon. Christine's gonna be getting back in there against Beck. Who are you having your eyes set on? Are you looking title wise? Are you looking contender wise? Or you're just looking whoever they put across you?
Whoever they put across me, honestly.
I'll be the same way until you get in that position where they're asking who do you want?
Yeah, right now, like I said, I'm just beginning my career. I'm not gonna be sitting out there calling out people, you know what I mean? I'm there to fight, and that's what I love to do. It doesn't matter who's across the ring from me, you know what I mean? So whoever they think is a good idea, I'll be game.
So I gotta ask something kind of crazy, because I always ask crazy questions, right? I remember back when the UFC first started up and Tank Abbott got his win. He's in the middle of doing his interview and he's like, "Don't point the camera down. I'm a little excited right now." What does it feel like when you beat an opponent? Do you get like a rush of excitement? Are you just overwhelmed with like, I can't believe this has happened? Then you do it again. I mean, is it better the first time or the second time? Do you get the same kind of energies?
I think it's always different, a little bit different, every time, you know what I mean? But yes, it's a natural high. I don't know if I get that type of excitement.
Yeah, we don't want to see you walking around with a boner or anything.
I don't get that type of excitement, but I do get like a natural high, and it feels amazing. Like all your endorphins, you know what I mean, are coming in. So yes, it's a great feeling.
So do they come up at like after your fight and say, "Good job, kid," and start talking about your next fight, or they just say, here's your money and we'll call you? I mean, because you've been doing some crazy stuff lately with your career, and we couldn't wish for anything better to happen to you the way it has. And we all want to see you back in there. That's how you become a big name. You stay relevant. You stay going in there and finishing your opponents. So what happens after the fight?
It's more or less just a lot of chaos with, fans, interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, that's more or less what it is. Yeah, there was no talk about my next opponent, but yes, I would love to be there as soon as possible, like I said.
So also, Steve, what do you got here? Because I got one.
What do you got? Oh, what, you're out?
No. I'm saying I was leading you in to ask her something.
I'm sorry. I was multitasking like a mofo, as per usual. But
all right,
I want to ask you,
the question
obviously, you fought last, on Knuckle Mania and everything like that. What were your thoughts on some of the other fights? I know people were really excited about a bunch of the fights. Obviously,
I was trying to bring up the main event for you to segue with her what she saw. So good job.
Was that?
I was trying to set up the question for the main event.
Obviously we're going to get into that because obviously right after the fight, Mr. Hunt and Mr. Richmond were really respectful towards each other. Then as we get into the week, apparently Mike has now filed down his nails and he has claws and things of that nature. So how does that happen? How do you go from being respectful in the moment and then after the fight, you get home and it becomes a whole totally different story? Obviously each situation, each fighter, each athlete is different in their own way, but I just can't get how we're hugging in the cage in the ring, and then you get out afterwards, and all of a sudden Mike's like got Wolverine claws over there.
I don't know. Sometimes people get a little salty after, you know what I mean? They go and sit there and they stew in it, you know what I mean? And they get mad, and yeah. I don't know.
Well, the bravado of the males, I guess.
Well, with girls, like afterwards, you guys are usually pretty tight, but there has been some crazy.
I think when it comes to the girls, it's either they love each other or they hate each other. There's not an iffy ground. I think it's either one way or the other.
Yeah, but for Jayme, she needs to get her nails dug in right now because she's got 2 wins. You should be, dressing up all crazy, get the Hollywood sunglasses on, and think you're the shit. So that's what you need to do. You would be great to be a heel. You're knocking girls out. I mean, you got all this set up for the bit. What's going on here? We're going to get you some face tattoos. We're going to get you,
Yeah, no face tattoos. Yeah, that's not my thing. Yeah, I think all that like stuff would.
Well, we brought up we had Peralta on, right? Steve? And she showed up at the weigh-ins with no shirt on.
With her fuck Disney tape over her boobies.
Yep, with the tape over her boobs. And none of us understood what she was trying to say. We were like,
I did.
All right.
It said fuck Disney.
And
possibly because of all the different way that they're depicting the princesses, maybe. I don't know, honestly.
I've seen that. But what she was trying to really say is, BKFC, they're with this whole company thing, but yet they promote and overdo it sometimes with the girls trying to be a little extra. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about the girls that go out there and do it compared to you, where you're just training and you're going there and performing? Do you kind of feel insulted that girls that are dressing up or doing crazy things are getting more of a spotlight compared to somebody like you who's putting in the hard work and it's all coming out to an equal?
My fighting, I think, shows. like I said, to each their own. If they want to sit out there and be fake or put on a performance, you know what I mean? Let them. That's just not my game. That's not something I'm comfortable with. So yeah, you probably won't see me out doing all that crazy stuff, nonsense.
Are you outside of BKFC? Are you watching any boxing tonight?
I
there's
was
boxing on?
actually like the BKFC fights actually right now. But yeah, at the moment.
You got any say
Hold
on
on.
tonight's
Whoa,
fights?
whoa.
Are you team
Whoa.
Belcher or team Adams tonight?
Belcher.
I'm with
So,
you there too. I think Allen's got the gas tank and he's got the chin. And I think Arnold's an amazing champion, but I think if he lets Allen drag him into deep waters, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Yo, hold on. The BKFC's on tonight. So one is on PFL and BKFC.
That's why I can't get Mr. Feldman on here. He's so damn busy. He's got shows back to back. Every time he gets a week off, he's on a vacation somewhere, so I can't grab him. So I mean, yeah, dude, they're very busy over BKFC. Love what Dave's doing.
Bro.
Yeah, blowing
Am I
up.
stupid? Yeah, you just answer. Yeah. We just had Alan Belcher on, and he's the main event, and I didn't even realize that fight is right now, tonight. Yeah. Smoke another joint, Evil Eddie, right? Jesus. I actually really like that BKFC is being so aggressive with planning a lot of these matchups, a lot of events, because that's how it works. That's where I think Bellator falls, Steve. Not being relevant enough, not knowing where to tune in. BKFC, you always know where it's going to be, and the more fighters are going over there. I mean, New Orleans. How many events have they had already this year? 3, 4?
It's been I think possibly or more.
I think it's at 4, yeah. And we're only like getting towards the end of February now, so
yeah, and they already have other fights scheduled and everything like that showed.
Yeah, because we have another one, March 17th after this one?
And then the one with the Jenny Savage and the Britton Hart.
Yeah.
I think that one too. So
that's gonna be a fun one.
All right. Remember Misfits' last fight, right? And the girl got hit so hard that she threw up her hands, was like, I've had enough. Who was that? That was Sterling,
Britain?
Right?
That was Taylor.
That was Taylor, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. It was Taylor Starling.
What has Taylor been doing since then? Like, I would love to see her come back. She's a pistol.
I think she did like a boxing match, and I don't know what she's doing now.
You're friends with her, right?
Huh?
You're close with her, aren't you?
We trained together before. We kind of had some words.
What? You're hiding something there.
Yeah. She's trying to keep it on the low. She already said it without saying it. She's looking down.
Yo,
she already tried not to tell you.
And I liked it. Was it? That's
what, no.
I just think it's one of those things when you get in the gym and y'all start getting off on each other. Tempers start flying, words start flying, things of that nature. Or is it something else?
Was she a bully?
Yeah, no. It's just me and her are two different people and totally different personalities, and we didn't really click. We're like oil and water, I guess you could say.
So this goes back to like what I was saying before. There's people like that get the spotlight, and then there's people like you that put in the hard work. So it does upset you that there's people like that are getting the spotlight when you're the one. If you had that fight with Misfit, I don't know what would have happened, but what did you think about that? Like the way that went down.
Into a fight she didn't deserve to have, and if you're asking my honest opinion, nothing against Taylor in any way, shape, or form. I already said it last week that they're running out of options for Christine at that weight class.
That's true.
So they're just basically giving her whoever they think would be the most exciting fight. So now we're rehashing the Beck Hyatt fight or Rowdy Beck, however you want to refer to her now. So we're running that one back. When was the last time Beck won a fight? We're talking more than 5 years at least.
Yeah, well, like with the whole Taylor thing, like I said, she's a very great performer. She's out there. She's a very bubbly person. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's just that's just not me. And she's very exciting for people to watch. You know what I mean? People love to watch her. Either they love or hate to, you know what I mean? And I think with that fight, they thought because of her success in BKFC, I think they thought it was going to be a great, exciting fight and that she was actually going to put up more of a fight. But yeah, she stepped in there with a real fighter and someone that can hit hard.
Look at
And
the smile on Jamie's
she
face,
learned
bro.
real quick.
So, all right, I'm not going to let you get away with this, Jayme. You say that it was like oil and vinegar. Like, what was the thing that really made you just be like, that's like not my thing? Like, what happened?
Well, it was just one time on the mat, like, you know what I mean? Things got a little heated and we got into each other's face. You know, we both said we didn't like each other and, you know, a fist got thrown and that was more or less the end of it.
Yo, she threw it. So she threw a jab at you.
I threw one at her because, yeah.
Oh my God.
Like I said, it was a whole thing. Like she went to slam me a couple times on the mat and I didn't like it. So when we were face to face at the end of class, like we got each other face and she's like, "Oh, I don't like you." And I was like, "I don't like you either." And yeah, I threw pretty, you know, like one of those a shitty ass back and swing. But yeah, that was
shitty ass swing. The girl who just knocked out her last two opponents. All right. So, Jayme, you knocked her out, is what you're saying. You knocked her out in the gym.
Oh no, I didn't knock her out. Like I said, it was like one of those hits that you're like, you know, in a dream where you're like going to hit someone, and you're like, ugh, and then you just hit them, and it's like, what was that? You know what I mean? And yeah, I was more afraid of getting in trouble, I think, than anything.
Steve, I'm brewing something up over here. This is like the Maldonado Connor thing, where it's like, show me the footage, you know? Like,
yeah. If you were there, you know. If not, then yeah.
Jeez, man. So listen, right now after the fight, we always like to. This is like our question for after the fight because, you know, we've had some really good answers for what fighters have done after the fight, but we were just kind of discussing this. You know, fighters like to indulge, you know, their favorite foods, but they just went through a weight cut or this and that. Like, if I don't feed my fish for 2 days and I give them fish food, it's going to go into their stomach and they're going to immediately throw it up. It's not that healthy for you. So with fighters going out there eating, what did Carlos Barza eat? Like a $3,000 cookie or something like that. Like, do you overindulge after your fights? And do you feel like shit afterwards because of all the weight cutting?
Well, I went up in weight on this one, so it wasn't like a weight cut. And
that's smart. That's smart.
And even whenever I'm like cutting to 105, I'm able to like eat whatever the hell I want and candy and stuff. A lot of fighters and people get like kind of salty because of that, and it's like, well, if not, I'm gonna be very underweight. So if you see in some of my posts, I was eating candy bars, like not even like close to the fight, big old size candy bars. So I don't deprive myself of anything. If I want it, I'm going to eat it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I work hard. So no, I actually really didn't indulge in too much after than what I already have.
Are you into like keto? Because my mom, she's got this whole kick with keto now, and I've tried some of the foods and they're actually pretty good.
No, I don't do keto. And then especially for women, I heard that it's very not good for women.
Oh, my rats are on keto right now. I wonder if it's good for them.
Well,
why? What does it do? What's bad about keto? Because this is something I got to tell my mom now. It's not good for women.
Well, if I guess whatever. Some people complain about down there, like getting really gross and stuff. So I'm like, ew.
I can't tell my mom that. Yo, mom, watch out. Watch out for your pH levels, mom. You can't say that to my mom, yo.
You asked.
Oh man. We can do a whole segment just on that.
I feel, yo,
But yeah, no, I don't do all that stuff.
what does it mean for guys? Yeah, for guys, like if you eat keto, you can't get hard anymore. Like it's just like there's all these bad things and shit. Yeah,
No.
I'm gonna stop eating keto now. That's just awful.
Oh man.
Have you ever been in there with a girl that kind of stinks?
I've grappled with.
Are we going back to Taylor?
No.
No.
Are we going- no.
Steve, I gotta think about that.
No, I don't believe I've fought anyone that has. But yes, I have grappled a few girls, not naming no names. And it's like, ew, yeah.
I'm gonna look up
On the down low, she calls her B.O. Betty.
No, I need a sec.
Oh man, yeah, we got Eddie over there cracking up. I'm not. You're still back in here, bro.
My cheeks hurt, bro. My cheeks hurt. That was so embarrassing. What can I tell my mom? Oh, tell her that
Tell her that it comes with abnormal odors.
I gotta go throw everything away.
Listen, man, like when you're getting clean and healthy, you have to make sacrifices. You just got to ask yourself if that's one you're willing to make.
You want to just smell weird,
Yo.
I guess.
Or you could just.
All right, we need to change this subject.
You brought it up, dude.
Oh, me and Steve were talking.
I already told you I'll go run with it if it's something we can talk about.
Oh my god!
But,
I wanted to talk about the sports card thing with BKFC. I think that's something me and you can get.
I still think I'll beat on it because obviously we're getting more into our card and hobby enthusiast. But
So,
let me ask
how-
you, Jayme, don't you think there's one of these cards, Tops, Upper Deck, Panini, however whatever you want to say, should come up with cards for the BKFC fighters, the women athletes, the Bellator fighters, the PFL fighters. Because all we see out there is UFC and your other major four sports. You don't see anything for the boxers, really. You'll see a couple specialty things pop up, but no one actually produced it. Don't you think, as much as Dave and everyone's doing, we need to sit down one of these card companies so we can get a Mike Richmond card, a Jayme Hinshaw card, a Taylor Starling card,
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, we're talking about it. Like, I think it's something, the I guess what we call the card world has kind of really exploded again over the last 10 years with a lot of stuff that some of the companies done, where something that card collecting 15 years ago was damn near dead. But now we've gotten in a thing, I think, because of not only the other sports getting more involved into, I guess, what we call hobbying, but also the industry itself growing and evolving in certain areas. But I think, having BKFC athletes, MMA athletes, hell, even grapplers for all that matter. Like, I wouldn't mind a Mr. Ryan card. He's arguably the greatest grappler we have in this current age. But like, there's still stuff to make things fun, to get fans more engaging with things like that. I think it's something both the card companies and I think people who are in.
You don't even need those, Steve. You don't need. So I watched this thing because, see, I got all these cards down here and shit like that.
Oh boy, here he goes.
And I watched this thing. You don't have to go through like the MLB, right? You got Upper Deck, you got Tops. You don't have to go through the MLB to be an official partner with them. You can make actual cards and put them out there under your own brand, and it won't say officially licensed by, but you can put them out there. That's what a lot of like Skybox, Panini, like, and the contract switch. So Steve, maybe we should be the ones to start, and we're going to make Jayme's the rarest card you can get. So it goes up.
It's funny you said that, because one of those names I gave you the other night, I was looking on eBay, and apparently the guy's rookie card is one of the few that's like a rare oddity.
We'll get Taylor Starling's crotch rot. We'll get the
no, please no, stop
card. The crotch rot card, bro.
Please, no, stop.
You know,
There's so many
Have,
other
like,
things.
a piece
that are
of
better.
the shorts or something like that.
Yeah, with crotch rot on it.
Oh man. Well, I mean, we already have
probably
unique
sell
things.
a
Like when you
lot.
look at other sports, they got jersey patches, and UFC has like the mat relics from like the mats that they compete on. What would be the unique thing we would get from bare knuckle? Would it be the wraps? Would it be your guys' outfits? What do you think would be the unique card that they would make for that?
On that, I don't even know because we don't really have too much of hand wraps. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you don't have gloves, you don't have hand wraps. 90% of your guys' outfits are you guys either make it yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have like official uniforms or anything like that. So it'd be interesting to see how they would do, I guess, the unique relics they would call them.
Maybe like you know what I mean. One of the towels that they wipe over your face or some shit like that.
Probably what it'd be is they would probably reach out to you guys and be like, you have any stuff that you guys would have like a couple T-shirts from your guys' fight camp that we could use.
We're gonna take her ponytail.
Here you go again with physical human stuff again. We did find a site.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to
have your teeth made in the rings. By the way, I did find that for you.
No way. So you know what I'm about to do? Actually, I'm about to get 2 gold teeth right here. To get, I got cavities and shit. I want to get 2 gold teeth. Jayme, we need to get you a grill. You need to walk out all cute and innocent.
She is not the type for a grill, bro.
That's what Jayme's gonna do.
Face. Like we were talking about oil and water. Yeah, when it can't. So as soon as you said grill, she became oil.
But
and water.
I actually, if you do look up my last fight, it is like a grill.
Oh, so the mouth guard is.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No way. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like
I guess
think
the closest
I put
you'll
it on
ever
my
get to one, right? Your mouth guard is probably the closest you'll ever get to a grill, right?
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up right now.
Well, I mean, they do sometimes make the extra big mouth guard, so I would get it.
Yeah, Damage Control. They do my mouth guards, and like they did one custom for me. So, like.
Oh, yo, I think I see it. I see it on Google. Where did you say it was officially though?
I have it on my page on my Instagram. I even just have like the mouth guard, like a picture of it.
That's kind of badass that you got to do that.
And already tonight, there's been 2 draws. Here's the thing.
Crazy.
Here's my thing. I have an issue with draws in combat sports. All these fighters sacrifice all the stuff. The fans sacrifice everything. The coaches sacrifice everything. The families sacrifice everything. And then you're going to tell them they put all that work into, and then we're going to have a draw.
What the fuck are you? Is that your boyfriend?
That's the Juggernaut bot that freaking that they had walking around at Knuckle Mania.
Yeah, it was crazy because I had just seen him all over the internet before, and then whenever he came out with the Juggernaut, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was like a big highlight of my night, even though I won.
Are you a Marvel geek? Is that why you liked it so much?
Yeah.
Oh, right, X-Men. He was from X-Men, right?
Yes, he's one of the X-Men villains.
Jesus.
Or anti-heroes, however you want to call them.
Here's Jayme's mouth guard here, which actually is really badass. That looks like a legit freaking grill, and I see like a little peep smiley face on there too.
Yes, that's kind of what I added to that and like the rose gold around it.
That is, you know what we can do for your sports card? We can cut out little pieces of the teeth. That's what we'll do. No, that's actually really cool that they actually made the shout out to, what is it? DC mouth guards.
Yeah, damage
control.
All right.
Yeah. They
Damage Control is one of the 2 mouth guard companies that actually cater to combat sports that I think are elite.
Wow.
Yeah, they have some pretty like nice mouth guards. They've been the ones that I've stuck with since I began training. You know what I mean? They've saved my teeth.
So when you show up there, do you get like options of what you can pick, or like this is a wide variety?
Well, yes, they do have options, but like if you go back and like I have so much different mouth guards, I just kind of more or less go up and get an idea or like kind of draw out something of what I would want, and they're pretty great at making it come to life and actually looking better than what I, you know what I mean, kind of put out there. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like there was one I had that said Hinshaw. It was clear with like blood splatter all over it and stuff. And it was so realistic that someone actually thought that it was blood in my mouth and thought my opponent had bloodied me up. And I'm like, that's my mouth guard, but thanks.
Like kind of like this one right here.
No, it like I said, it was totally custom. I'll have to like actually put up like, you know, pictures of a lot of mine, because I even have one like the Homer Simpson donut. All kinds of stuff.
The pink donut. Wow. It looks like John Bones Jones even uses them too.
Yes. And like, because you were saying about grills, Paul Wall is one of their things too. Yeah. A lot of people actually use their mouth guards. So said I highly recommend them.
Wow. You know, it was like a huge like imagine if they didn't come up with mouth guards and they made you guys wear like the baby binkies. Instead of mouth guards, you had to wear the binkies, like it's stuck on the nipple binkies to protect your mouth. Imagine if they never made mouth guards.
There are like weird mouth guards that are kind of like, you know, where you bite on both of it and it just has that little mouth breather piece.
A little binky.
I think those ones are so weird. I think that would constrict your.
I think we were just looking at
those on here. Actually, a lot of them like for the football and some other people actually use those, and I'm like, how can you? That just would irritate the shit out of me.
So that's what this is right here. Let's see. This is what this is. That's what you're talking about with the
kind of like that. Yeah.
That's a binky, yo. That's a binky. So I remember in high school we'd have to melt down our mouth guards in a pan and mold it to our teeth. Do you have to do it with that?
Well, with them, they took like you can do both. It's boil and bite, so you can get some of them that already like have designs and stuff, and put it in boiling water and stick it in your mouth and do all that. Or you can go over there and have a mold made of your teeth. The mold, and you could they even send you the kit too if you don't live around. And they just conform it to your teeth, so it just snaps in there like awesome.
Jayme, it's such a pleasure to have you back on Combat Deviants. Me and Steve have been fired up. He calls me all the time, and he's like, bro, Jayme's going to be back on next week. And I'm like, bro, we're going to follow your whole career up until your champion.
Well, I've been supporting Jayme since she was an amateur as it is anyways.
Wow.
So I'm going to be following anyways. My big thing is I'm excited to see where BKFC takes her. Yeah. You know, I guess we don't know if you do have any plans to go back to MMA or not, but obviously BKFC is doing right by you now. I wouldn't go look for anywhere else right now. I mean, if you think about it, you know, what BKFC and Dave Feldman and, you know, even the other promotions have done over the last 5 years, it's almost made UFC getting to the point of being like, you know, a secondary issue. Who's fighting for BKFC?
What we want to
you do have a good percentage of former MMA fighters, but you do have, you know, your UFC guys, your name guys and stuff like that. But I think when some of you get matched up with those athletes, it's your chance to, within your promotion, to use their name to springboard your career. So I even you know, when we were talking to you know, Josh, when we had Kendall on and things like, you know, they like, I'd love to be a UFC killer. Line them all up for me.
You know? Like with BKFC, I think that right now they're taking care of a lot of their fighters. It's a great promotion. It's very exciting. It's something that's skyrocketing. You know what I mean? And everyone's like excited to watch it. Like there's not someone that's not wanting to really watch it. You know what I mean? It's something different than the UFC. It's something different than MMA. It's something different than boxing. It's just something pure, just like a street fight. You know what I mean? But with some kind of technical stuff, and everyone just, they get it. You know what I mean? It's different. And who doesn't want to see that? You know what I mean? You're always going to see someone get knocked out, someone get cut, bloody, stoppages. You know what I mean? It's always a great, exciting night whenever you're sitting there watching BKFC fights. So, yeah.
So as we get ready to wrap this one up, Jayme, you know how we do things. Throw the microphone over to you. Anyone you want to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot at the social media sites. Anything else you want to add? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yes, I want to shout out to my gym, FinHB, my coaches, my teammates, everyone that's helped me out throughout this journey in my career. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all my sponsors, Damage Control, Jerky by Art, Monty Cigar Shop, Rhodes Wrestling Academy, Mueller's Meals, Lockjaw Wrestling, Joe's Massage Therapy. What else was there? There was a couple more too. Can you?
She's asking to help us help now. She's like, do you remember which ones?
I got put on the spot. Lions Not Sheep.
Yep, Lions Not Sheep. Remember that? You're sitting there saying one of the shirts that just came out. Well, you need one of them.
Yes, that one I do. That one's a must. I think that's about it for right now. Yeah, Functional Fury. Yes, I can't forget them because that's where I get my guns.
That's where she gets the guns for. That's where she gets them guns from. All right, Jayme. Appreciate the time. Again, congratulations on another big victory. Hopefully, you get back in there soon, and you can get back into hopefully fighting within the next month or two. If not, we'll see you when you get lined back up. Either way, appreciate you as always. Keep smiling, keep shining, keep grinding, my friend.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right, everyone. That was the one and only Jayme Hinshaw. And without any further ado, we are being joined by Mr. Joshua Styles. What's up, my friend?
What's up, guys?
How's the fight going tonight? I know you pumped.
Yeah, bro. I'm enjoying them.
We were already talking because we had Mr. Belcher on a few weeks ago. Obviously, Mr. Adams is the champion right now. They're the main event tonight.
Right. Yeah, I got a little money.
The main event last week was pretty much fireworks as well. I'm expecting nothing less from Mr. Adams and Mr. Belcher tonight. You paint you in a quarter. You have to make your pick. Who you picking tonight?
I already put money on Belcher.
Hey,
that's what I'm talking about. Love it. Love when they show him Mr. Belcher love. Love Arnold Adams, but I just think Allen's got a lot of tools, man, and especially if he's able to drag you into deep waters, I think it might be some problems for
I think he has a little more power too.
I agree, but also Allen's been doing a lot of changes since he's done a lot of changes, not only since he came to BKFC, but since he left the UFC, everything like that. He's a completely different fighter than the person that people watch fight in the octagon.
Oh yeah.
He's got a freaking an atom bomb for a right hand as it is right now.
He does, and he moves lightning quick, man. For a heavyweight,
he's still moving like a middleweight.
Yeah, he really does.
And then obviously, was impressive last time out, but love Arnold and all, but I just think a lot of things are moving in Allen's direction. We'll see how everything plays out tonight. I already seen there was 2 draws on it. As a fighter, man, don't you feel like that's the athletic commission, the judges at ringside, basically robbing everybody of a clear decision that night? I mean, you were professionals after all at this point in time. When there's a draw, shouldn't you say, okay, go back in there one more round?
You should, and in bare knuckle, that's in every single contract you get. It says that you'll go to a sudden death. Now they tell you in person, like right before the fights and the fighters meeting and all that, that's only for co-main and main events. But it's in every single contract that you would get a sudden death if they wanted. So I don't know how they work that out. Maybe they look at some fights and say, hey, we'll do a sudden death this time.
See, now me as a fighter, I would take that personally. Like, what do you mean? Like, listen, I sacrifice XYZ, money-wise, time-wise, my energy-wise, my family did and you're gonna tell me that we're gonna have a draw, so what? We don't get our win bonus now?
I'd be pissed, but it depends on what kind of draw. So earlier, I don't know if y'all are watching the fights tonight, but Bosnick fought Angel Corps. They had a draw. There's already been 2 draws tonight, but Bosnick and Angel Corps had a draw. Bosnick won the first 3 rounds. Angel Corps had a drop in the 4th round and then won the 5th round, obviously. But that wouldn't have been a draw if Bosnick would have fought harder in the 5th. All he had to do was push, but he wanted to clinch and hold, think he could survive. So for situations like that, I don't really have any sympathy for a guy who wins 3 and then wants to wait it out 2 and hold, and then it's a draw. But now if it was the
one
other
of those ones where it's back and forth, so you see both guys are going after it. I don't want to see, the referee holding both guys' hands as he's going to render the decision. I don't want to see that.
Oh, no. I'd be pissed, man. I would not. I mean, to me, if I was in a draw, that's the same as a loss. It's the same thing.
I agree. I mean, I think we're at the point now, unless amateur fights should be the only fights that end in draws, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
It's one of these things where we athletic commissions are paid and funded by the state. So at that point in time, why are we even talking about it? Listen, they're going to do whatever you tell them to do at this point in time. You're the promoter. You're running things. If you want to tell them run out there for another 3 minutes for another round, guess what? They're going to run out there for another 3 minutes for another round.
And every fighter would do it. If you're a real fighter, like a real warrior, go die on your shield. You're going to go out there and do that extra round. You won't even have an argument about it.
Yeah, it's all right, cool. We know we going an extra round. What's up? At least we know either me or my opponents getting their hand raised in the next 3 to 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's one of these things. I just think almost just about any sport anymore, there is some type of finality to it. I think where it is now is football and hockey are the only ones that have ties anymore.
Yeah, and in football they made, obviously you can't in the playoffs, but even they changed it this past year to what it was. You have before it was the first team to score, it's over. If you score a touchdown, the game's over. Now both teams get a chance to score. So even they kind of moved theirs along to where they're trying to cut out the draws, make them less.
I mean, football still happens just because of how things work out. Time doesn't work, etc. There's a couple things that plays against into it. But like I said, I think hockey is the only sport that actually actively has ties on a regular basis. But you look at the other sport, NBA, you see teams going to 5, 6 different overtimes.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, we've had 30 inning games before. So So we're at this thing where you have all these major sports where there's a winner one way or another. But combat sports is just some of these things we're talking, so many different things play into it. Money, the promoter, the athletic commission, the fighters themselves. There shouldn't even be a question. If they're you're sitting there saying if it's the co-main or main event, listen, anyone that is on a televised portion of anything, obviously there's dark matches and things like that stuff gets moved along. Understandable. These guys aren't all the way up there. It still doesn't affect them any less. But if we're sitting there, the UFC, and we're having all these fights that you have, a 10-fight card and 5 fights on that weren't on the pay-per-view, and then in draws, it's a bad night.
Yeah,
for everybody.
It's a bad night for the company, bad night for the fighters. Nobody's going home happy.
No one's happy. Everyone's upset. Everyone's at each other's throats. It's not. You want some finality in this, just one way or another, just because everyone has put in a lot of work.
You think maybe
the promoter,
the rematch clause? This is how you're gonna, they can make rematches happen through that, which generates more money. So maybe it's kind of a perk for the promoters, but for the fighters and shit, it sucks.
I mean, like it's just rough, man. But now I want to real quick backtrack a second. Obviously, big fights tonight. Last week was Knuckle Mania. Me and you were on the opposite ends of this one from the main event last week. You know, absolutely loved that we were finally getting Hunting Richmond. That needed to happen. It probably should have happened a year ago.
I agree.
Because of that, we gotten all kinds of extracurricular stuff to talk about leading up into this. And it's been great. Trust me. If I'm Dave Feldman, the promotion, holy crap. Did these two men deliver over the past year for them? Because let's be honest, take them two out of this. There's not a whole lot of people talking about what's going on at BKFC.
No.
And that's not BKFC's fault. I think a lot more fans should be tuning in, things of that nature.
It's getting bigger now, but that's definitely, those are the two big draws outside of your ex-UFC guys. You know,
but that's what I'm talking. Like, see, that's what that. And listen, me and him were already talking about this. We were talking about it with Jayme. We talk about it with a lot of the guys. I think it's the greatest thing that you're having MMA fighters who probably were better suited to be in this sport as it is anyways, just be here as it is, because you see what happens when you get the full array of what mixed martial arts is. Some guys are just better strikers. Some guys, you know, they're terrible at checking kicks or taking kicks, and it breaks them down as that. Could you imagine, you know, Rampage Jackson and BKFC like 10 years ago?
Yeah, no, that would have been
bad. He probably would have killed some people, man. He had some unreal power. Like, it's one of these things, like, you can only imagine what some of these guys have done. And you can't tell me, like, looking back at it now, Rampage wouldn't have done BKFC. Dave Feldman would have put a fat check in front of him. He'd be like, bye MMA. Never see you again. Love you.
Exactly. Yeah, like imagine
now we're getting guys like your Mike Perry's. You know, rumor is Diaz will eventually come to BKFC. You already have, you know, former UFC guys in there as Alan Belcher. Diego Sanchez made his debut last week. Whether you're for it or against it, however you feel about that, you have a lot of these, you know, I guess attractive names coming over. Now, let me ask you something. If you're putting together like a list full of athletes that you could handpick from any promotion in combat sports now, who would your five guys or girls be that you would bring into the BKFC to help make a big push to you know, that next level for the promotion?
You're saying from the UFC or from anywhere?
From any combat sport. It doesn't have to be UFC. It doesn't have to be Bellator. It could be boxing.
My first would be Amanda Nunes. I think she would be a massive draw.
Oh man, problem is finding somebody to fight her.
Maybe that's where we get Cyborg Nunes. Maybe that's where we get.
Please.
Outside of Nunes, I don't know. You want to say
you got to say Francis, man, because we don't know where Francis is even going.
Well, from what I seen the other day, he wants 30 mil for a fight, so I doubt he's coming to BKFC unless Triller really shovels out some money. But who knows, man? He may go do the Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder and then slide over to BKFC after that.
That's what you would think, because only money that's coming out is with Jake Paul or in boxing right now with big stars. We really don't have it for BKFC, and for some reason the UFC doesn't want to pay their biggest stars. The UFC is really failing right now. Ever since they sold to Disney and all them, it's been completely different.
Not even Disney, but when Zuffa sold the company and we lost Lorenzo Fertitta, everyone has downplayed how much Lorenzo made the UFC move the way it needed to.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as Dana's doing the best that he can with what he's known and what he does, Dana isn't the full package. And he's been trying to supplement that with all these business professionals and things of that nature. And
you got everybody wanting to be Conor McGregor too, man, and it ruins it. You know, you got all these guys trying to act the same.
They showed you that's how you do it. Because but here's the other question. Why did that happen, Josh? Because the UFC allowed those guys to change the rules of how they've done things, and now everyone wants to do it that way. That's the way you get paid. That's the way you get title fights, etc., etc., etc. So now you have what is now going to be a whole generation of fighters that think that's how you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and it pisses me off, man, because I think a lot of that with the Conor McGregor thing was just the perfect timing. Like, it was the perfect whirlwind. It wasn't just him. It was just fans were also tuning in. You know, that was when it was hitting mainstream where everybody was starting to watch. So it wasn't just
because, like, at that point in time, the Fox deal had already happened, and then you're just like, I guess at that point in time, really just kicking off the whole ESPN deal and everything like that. So they did a lot of things.
Donald Cerrone, right? Cerrone's a great guy, and he got all those martial arts fans from being the guy that he is. He's super nice, you know. He goes out of his way, lives with his grandma. And I believe the same kind of thing could happen for a good guy, a guy like that. Like, it wouldn't have had to be a heel. Conor just came in at the perfect time with that electricity from Ireland, and it was just different. But I believe, you know, 10 years before that.
I think what Conor was, it was just he had a unique bravado about him that the combat sports world really hadn't seen in a very, very long time.
I agree with that.
If you really look at it, he literally took a page out of like WWE's like you know, character playbook.
Yeah, I agree.
And ran with
it. He fought like Anderson Silva, so that helped too. He had the mouth.
He was knocking everyone out for a while, man. He broke my heart when he beat Eddie, man, because I'm a Philly dude through and through. But you know, you had to know that was coming. As much as I love Eddie, and still to this day, you know, you got to love the guy. But it's one of these things where he was just on a magical run, and there's nothing you could have done about it at that point in time.
Listen,
finally, you know, he finally found a style that beat him when he came across Nate.
Yeah, I rewatched the Eddie and Conor fight the other day.
I got the poster behind me, bro.
The size difference is just ungodly, dude.
The interview was amazing from Conor after the fight, and he was like, you know, Eddie's a solid competitor, but to have somebody to beat me, you got to have attribute. You got to be taller. You got to be bigger. You got to, and it's the same way I feel in BKFC. You know, like, if you're not taller, if you're not bigger. There's so much belief in his skill set that you have to get somebody bigger and stronger and faster to beat him.
Now that's something I want to ask you.
Absolutely nobody.
The belief is also just as big as a part of everything in how everything plays out, as much as the skill set, as much as it takes timing, luck, all those other things.
Right.
I mean, I think that also plays into it as much.
Well, we still have John Jones around, and he's got this
the character
fight.
himself.
Does this feel like it could be a plus for the UFC, or do you not hear many people even talking about, you know, this upcoming?
I think the thing with John is he still has to prove everybody that he's not that POS that he was the last 10 years.
Shit, man, I think people love the POSs, man. That's what people are about. Like, that's what people pay attention to. If somebody's being great in school, or there's a fight in the hallway, which one are you going to go to? You want to watch the baseball game, or are you going to go to the fight? People want to see the evil shit, the nasty shit. People like that. So that's why people pay attention. But I think it lost a lot of its spark and fire when Ngannou left. Him and Ngannou would be so much bigger than him and Cyril Gane. It's ridiculous.
Yo, he was even, I remember a couple years ago, he was calling out for a Brock Lesnar fight. Like, John Jones knows how to promote, but I feel like this one right here, he's not really been promoting much. I feel like there's not many people talking about it. When this is a really exciting fight, this is what makes the UFC exciting. When you were talking about Conor, when Conor went up against Jose Aldo, everyone was like, well, what's going to happen? There was a question mark in all of our brains. For this one, no one's even really throwing any fire or any wood into that fire to make it as exciting as it truly freaking is. And maybe because it wasn't with Francis. If it wasn't with Francis, it would be a lot bigger. And once again,
I still think the other part is where they dropped the balls. Well, me and you were talking about beforehand that there was 2 fights that they could have made that would have really made this exciting. Stipe or Francis were the only 2 fights. Nothing against Cyril. It's just one of these things where you don't have that broadband recognition across anyone. When anyone says Stipe, we don't even have to say his last name. We say Stipe, right? Same thing when we talk about Conor. We just say Conor. And everyone immediately knows who you're talking about and what you're talking about.
Right.
He doesn't have that recognition where we say we can either say John or Bones, and everyone knows who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Cyril's not there yet. Now, obviously, you have to.
Nobody knows.
Good.
I'm sorry. I was just saying nobody outside of huge MMA fans know who he is.
Exactly. So you're making this big fight where you want casuals to turn in, and John is great, but he hasn't done anything over the last 10 years, so you can't sell him where you could sell other guys. I get why you bring Ciro in, but at the same time, it's like you needed Francis, you needed Stipe to make that fight the way it needed to be made.
I agree.
I think it's going to miss something, but at the end of the day, I don't really think it matters. John Jones is John Jones, and I think everyone's going to be reintroduced to who he is. The question is, how does it translate? Because now he's not fighting dudes; he's twice their size.
So you got here on Twitter.
I think he's gonna do like you seen the way Ngannou took Cyril down and dominated him. I think John Jones is gonna do the same thing. I think he'll strike with him, and then his timing is so good on those takedowns. I think he'll take him down and probably finish him with elbows or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see John go back to a submission too.
Yeah, I can see that. Hey, I don't know.
That's what he's known for. He gets you down, he takes you down, he starts beating you up until you make a positional mistake, and he just can't help but go for the submission.
Right. He can do it. I mean, he is the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC that there is.
No one can deny that. No one really can. It just you and you're even saying it like you know, I guess the everyday combat sports fan, you know, kind of enjoys the recluse POS at times as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
obviously, with everyone still loving Conor McGregor despite all the obvious nonsense that he's pulled over the years, it's just one of those things, man. It's going to be fun to see what happens. It's going to be fun to see how the fans react to him. It's a fun time for the UFC to be getting back one of its biggest stars.
Right.
When they've lost young and talented guys, you lose Francis in the big public contract dispute. You lost Shane Burgos to PFL because there was miscommunication. He wound up walking. Like there's a lot of things going on with the UFC wrong where you need something like this to kind of bring everyone back into the fold.
I agree, but I still don't think it's not gonna do as much as they think it's gonna do.
I totally agree. Because that's still at the end of the day, you still can't just promote 2 or 3 guys or girls and think that the vast majority of people are going to turn in.
Man, they should have put all their eggs in that Islam and Volk battle. They should have put all their eggs in that basket. But
I don't feel like you really had to promote that fight as crazy as it was. Like it already was a big fight.
Yeah, number one.
I get why Islam was upset that he felt that it really wasn't being promoted, but I mean, at the end of the day, the UFC basically promotes what they want to promote.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, what do y'all think about the slap contest? The fucking slap shit going on?
I've been making fun of this thing since it started. Yo, let me ask you, Josh, isn't this stuff that everyone did when we were in high school, when we were drunk, hang around the bonfire? Okay, let's see who can take it.
Yeah, but I don't know about getting slapped in my face, but punching in the arms and shit or bloody knuckles, stupid shit like that.
Man, like, this is
we were just talking to Ian, right? We were just talking to Ian Heiniosch, and he said he took 2 years off because of a concussion. Think about how many concussions are being caused here at slap fighting.
Oh, those kids! That's gonna cause more CTE and brain damage than fighting ever does.
Yes, because there's this one thing that happens in actual fighting: you can defend yourself.
Exactly.
Are you defending yourself in slap boxing,
bro? And fuck, I would never ever do that. First of all, getting slapped sucks. It's terrible. I'd rather get punched than slapped. Secondly, my number one priority in fighting, like obviously, my number one priority is to win. But right after that, it's don't get hit a lot. Don't take a lot of damage. Yeah, see, look at that dude's fucking face, bro. Fuck
it's swollen.
No
all the way over to the end, Eddie. You're the one all the way over to the end.
Jeez. You just made $3,000 and took 10 years off your life. No way. No way.
But isn't that what Dana does best? Gets guys to put their bodies on the line for the minimum amount of money as he possibly can.
Yeah, that's what every fight promoter in the world does best.
I mean, I'm not surprised about it. I think the thing that I think is the weirdest thing is that no one's really like really pushing back against this. Obviously, media members are already like kind of on a very short leash when it comes to any real questioning as a true journalist when it comes to the UFC anyways.
Media is the only shot, man, because we get blackballed out. It's like me. I've just sat out
That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
year and a half, and my hands were hurt. I was down for like 6 months. But after that, I kind of got in a stalemate with negotiations, money. Holy shit. Yep.
That does look like Two-Face.
Jesus.
Damn. Bro, there's no way I can take that over and over and over again.
And they got Forrest Griffin playing head catcher.
Yeah.
Oh man, Forrest is like whatever to take a paycheck. Oh, you're gonna bring that back up?
I mean,
we'll bring up with that. We'll talk of that about. I'll talk to the Josh about that as we get through the interview.
All right.
Making fun of Mr. Dumas.
Oh, that guy! Holy shit, bro!
Oh, you seen that?
Yeah, the I'm in the UFC now. $100 for an interview.
Yo,
bro, I
do like this, dude. Earlier. Chris Cyborg never asked me to pay for an interview. Why would I pay you? Why would I pay you $100 and you haven't even made your first fight yet? But
wait a second. That was you guys that wrote him?
Huh?
Was it you guys that reaced out?
Yeah, I wrote him.
Yeah, that was Steve.
Oh shit,
so
bro!
I
didn't put two and two together. No shit! I just saw it like right before we got on here, bro. It was like an hour before this. I had no idea it was you, and I think Zion Tomlinson posted it, and I commented on there.
Because I posted it in one of the combat groups, and then Zion posted it. I've been chasing this dude for 4 years. I'm like, damn, he's on next level.
I was like, what a douchebag. This dude, I did like the little, like the SpongeBob meme, capital in lowercase letters. I'm in the UFC. Like, what a fucking idiot, bro. Come on. Jeez.
Now, here's my thing.
Steve, for the audio listeners, bring them through the story of what happened.
So, I just like when you're on social and you're on Facebook, you see, friends, and you notice the guy's an athlete or whatever. So I added him. Oh, crap. He just made it to the UFC. Let me see what's up. But I do anyone who familiar with my soul, I just send them basically the same message I send to just about everyone. And the only thing that changes is time, date, and things of that nature. It's basically the same message I send to everybody. So,
I just lost money, guys. Shit.
Who lost?
Me. Caleb Harris beat Brad Kelly.
I should have told you that. I just had Caleb on here a few weeks ago.
Shit, man. I had Brad Kelly.
Oh man. Did he stop him or was it a decision?
Oh no, it was a finish. I was talking to you guys. I didn't get to see it. I just heard everybody start freaking out and looked up. Damn. I don't even know what round it was. I'm trying to figure it out now. It was first or second. It was early. Shit. Left hand.
Let me get back into Mr. Dumas. So I sent him the message and he's like, hey, let me talk to my manager. And then he gets back to me and it's like $100. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, like I'm gonna respectfully pass. I've interviewed Dana White, I've interviewed NFL players, NBA players, NHL players, former boxing world champions, retired boxing world champions. No one's ever asked me for a cent. So then this week I seen that he did an interview with someone. He was channeling this small little 200, 300, 400 subscribers, followers, whatever. So I'm like, hey, did you ask them to pay for it? Immediately deletes my comment and hops in my inbox.
I seen the messages.
So, well, no. So while we were on air, apparently, I there's something wrong with me, but by putting out private messages, I have some ulterior motive. None. I don't have anybody. None. Listen. Media and athletes have worked together for ages. The only time you see people paying for things like that is when you're on big time levels. When you're on national TV being paid all this money, where your guests can sit there and say, hey, throw me a couple $100 and some travel to fly out there and be live on your in-studio TV show. Well, that's not what we have. That's not what 90% of media covering combat sports is right now. I even talked to James Lynch, who's arguably one of the bigger media members that we have in combat sports. He literally works with just about every media platform that there is out there. and gets paid for it. Here's the thing. I asked him. He was like, never. That has never happened. He's like, no one has ever asked me to pay them to interview him for
Let
any
me read
platform.
this.
Well, that's your payment is kind of getting your name out there, right? Like that's the
Well,
payment.
that's kind of the thing is like it's supposed to be like we're helping each other. Like, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
He said this hoe shit, bro.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Oh shit! What the fuck are you talking about?
Let me read this for the audio listeners.
Oh, man.
So Steve says, "Good afternoon. Just circling back, wondering if you got the okay." So SD responds, "Yeah, but you have to pay 100. That's just the fee. Since I'm in the UFC now, do y'all do Venmo or Cash App or PayPal?" Steve went, "Sorry, I'll have to pass. Never."
He must be hurting for money.
Well, no, I think he is hurting financially, and I'm not trying to make fun of that or light of that or anything like that, dude.
No, I mean,
after all this happened, I seen that he is like selling his vehicle on his social and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we all know how tough it is for athletes. So who knows if he's struggling or going through with it. Either way, this isn't how you go about things.
I agree.
Like, even if you are going to do it, I asked you if you charge them. So why delete my comment and start going crazy in my inbox? Why didn't you say, actually, no, I didn't? Or, that's really none of your business. Anything else, anything but the way he handled it.
Yeah, he handled it like shit. I did see that.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, and then like you're sitting there saying, why am I putting this out there? I said it right in the comments why I put it out there, to create an open conversation for everyone.
And not only that, though, Steve, but that's basically what you would have gotten out of the interview anyway. It's a promotion, so you still promoted him, so it's still a plus. And for us,
I still think Josh Oxidine got the home run there, tagging freaking.
So tell them what happened after.
Opponent, telling him that he was gonna take care of it for me anyways. I'm like, oh crap, Josh coming in with the savage comment.
So that's the other thing too, though. Like, all we do is promote fighters because they just see you guys go in there, you do your thing, then you come out, but they want to get to know you. They want to see that you're just like us. They want to get to know what's going on in life or, relatable things. That's all we're doing. And this is not the first time this year that this has happened, where the only person who's ever asked me for money, and it was $1,000, was Mayhem Miller. And Mayhem got it time already.
That makes sense.
That does make sense because he was doing that to everybody at that point in time.
Yeah. Not Mayhem though. He's actually he's a volunteer firefighter now. So Mayhem saving you.
Gotta love Mayhem.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy that you saw that, Josh. That's crazy that you saw that and didn't even realize it was Steve, bro.
Bro, I swear I didn't, and it wasn't long before this, and that's so funny. I'm gonna send it to you guys in a message that I just wrote on there maybe an hour ago. Like, this guy's a douchebag.
So I wanted to bring something up really quick. You're from Florida.
In reality, he has a douchey way of looking at life. I'll just say it like that. I don't know who he is on a regular basis or whatever.
Yeah,
honestly, and I said it to him multiple times. Wish you the best in your career, and I don't wish any ill on him. I just hope that moving forward, you learn how to deal with media better, deal with people better, deal with the situations like this better. If anything, make this a learning situation. You're sitting there saying, "I'm clout chasing for what?"
Well, if enough people rip him on social media, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. Especially if
I seen Nate Maness tag somebody, so one of the other UFC fighters tagged somebody. I don't know if he was a manager or whatever. I don't know.
So let me bring this up really quick. You're from Florida, right?
Yeah.
Are you from South Florida?
No, it's like North Central Florida.
Are you following what's going on with the XXX Tentacion court case right now?
Nah, man, I am not.
Bro. So when I was living down in Florida, I was in South Florida, like Boca and all that, Lake Worth. Man, people don't realize how violent it is in Florida. Well, like, how was it for you growing up in Florida? Was it pretty rough?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it was rough, but it was a little different. Like, where I'm from, it's not big cities. It's a lot more country. I'm dead center. It depends on which way you go. So Jacksonville's an hour to my left, Gainesville's an hour to my right.
All right, yeah.
But where I'm at, it's a little more country. It's a little different. It's still a little rough. I mean, you have to earn what you get. but it's not like Fort Lauderdale rough or Miami rough. It's not like that.
So I got to give the state of Florida a shout out, because when I was living down there, I tried jambalaya for the first time. See, if you ever have jambalaya.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if I had down south jambalaya.
Delicious, man. So if I go to Florida again, or our listeners go to Florida, where would you say to go? Like, instead of Disney World, like the go-tos, if you were to go to Florida again, where would you have people go check out?
You want a party?
Yeah.
Go to Ybor City in Tampa.
Ybor City.
Yeah.
In Tampa. In Tampa, you're saying?
Yeah, in Tampa. I've never really been to Miami like that. Miami's about 6 hours away from me.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
5 to 6 hours away from me. So I've never really been down there, but obviously word of mouth all through Florida is Miami's the place to be. If you're a car guy, Daytona's where you want to be.
Of course.
If you want to get shot, definitely go to Jacksonville.
So the craziest thing living down there was getting used to alligators and giant lizards everywhere.
Oh yeah, bro. There's alligators everywhere. You can walk. I can walk.
We got them in the lake right in the corner.
Within 10 minutes from here, I can walk and grab an alligator and bring it back.
Do people really mess with alligators down there? Like, it seems like the videos
bro.
I've seen.
The time.
We'll slap one.
Yeah, you gotta hop on its back. Keep its mouth closed, because they don't let them close on you, because you ain't gonna open their mouth, but you can hold them while they're closed.
We're not talking about little caiman either. We're talking about like freaking.
Massive alligators, bro. Massive. I've seen, I don't know if y'all seen the video, but the two alligators on a golf course here in Florida fighting. There was like a 12-foot alligator and an 11-foot alligator just tearing shit up in the center of the golf course while people were playing golf.
Dude, those are the last surviving real hardcore dinosaurs, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And Steve, the lizards down there, dude, they weigh more than like a 12-year-old, bro.
In Miami and South Florida, or down there, these monitors, or these big lizards, freeze. They'll be in and they'll freeze over the winter, and then they will thaw out, bro. And lizards will just be like fucking foot-long lizards will just be falling out of trees.
Holy shit.
Because they freeze and they don't die, and then when they wake up, they just fall out of trees and shit.
That's fucking insane.
Imagine a foot-long lizard just falls on your neck or your head while you're walking down the road.
Well, you know what I did have to deal with were those giant, I forgot the name of the spiders, but they were like this big, and they were everywhere in South Florida. It looks like there's
banana spiders, bro. Banana spiders.
Banana spiders. That's it. So
they
Steve,
won't hurt them.
when the video game for Zelda on the N64, they have like those crazy spiders where it looks like there's a skull on the back of it. Those are banana spiders, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's them. It really fuck you up when you're walking through the woods, not paying attention, talking to your buddy, and you catch a face full of banana spider. It's happened to me probably 100 times.
Yeah, Florida's no joke, man. But I will say this: if there's one amazing thing about Florida, it's the sunsets down there. It's purple lavender sunsets. You don't see that around Connecticut or New York,
Yeah, I've done a lot of traveling, man, and nothing's quite like Florida. I used to set trusses on military bases and travel all around the country doing that.
Wow.
So I've been everywhere except for like out California, out that far west.
So this is what me and Steve are going to ask you as we get to the end of the interview. BKFC, they're traveling now, man. They're traveling. Where do you want to go with them?
Shit, man. Thailand. They're in Thailand. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to England. Fighting a guy from England in England would be nice.
Yo.
Because I'm all about the going and being the bad guy somewhere else. I'm not a big fan of fighting at home or close to home. I like going out where it's different. So going to England and fighting a guy from England, or going to Thailand and fighting a guy from Thailand, for me would be fucking awesome.
So you don't mind playing the heel? You don't mind playing the bad guy or somebody that's going into somebody else's territory?
Oh man, I want it. That's what I like to do. Fuck being home, man. I don't want 100 family members at my fight. I want 100,000 people I don't know.
So the last time you fought was actually in December 9th of last year. When can we expect you?
The year before that.
Oh, what does it say here?
2021.
It's been a minute. Yeah. Wow.
He said his hands were fucked up, man. You gotta listen and remember.
Yeah, I broke both my hands in that fight.
Jeez, bro. I remember interviewing Bobby Gunn, me and Steve 6 years ago, and he kind of told me before Bare Knuckle got big, he was like, it's so different. You gotta really be accurate with throwing your punches. So
bro, and not even accurate. Like in bare knuckle, it's really cool. It's something I've been working on a lot. Is like the way people block with their elbows. You punch an elbow dead on with your knuckle, you're fucked. Or somebody drops their head a little bit and you hit the top of their forehead, you're gonna break your hands. It's
especially if you throw a stiff punch.
Oh yeah. If you're throwing hard, and that's one thing I'm working on is, you know, your adrenaline's going in there, and a lot of times you'll think you're not throwing as hard as you are, but when you get out of there, you realize how hard you're hitting. And I don't know if y'all ever got drunk and done stupid shit and punched a brick wall, but it's about like that for 5 straight rounds.
Look at the back end of my knuckles, dude.
Yeah, Steve punches the wall when I don't answer my phone.
I have no knuckle here from doing stupid shit like that.
It's when I don't answer my phone, Steve's punching walls and shit.
like dislocating this and never take it to the hospital, just relocating it myself.
I've done that.
So Josh, before we let you go here, when are you trying to get back in there?
Oh, I'm fighting. I've got a fight scheduled 3 weeks from now, Delray Beach.
Oh, Delray. All right, so South Florida, bro.
Yeah, man. They haven't dropped my opponent yet, and it's in my contract that I can't drop my opponent, but I am extremely excited. The biggest fight I've ever had by far.
Damn, man.
So is it someone will recognize?
Yeah. They're not from America.
Oh, shit.
See, there's your first hit. Not from America.
That's it. That's all I can say. I'm very, very excited about it. I don't know when they're going to drop it. I had an opponent change like in the last 2 weeks, so I think that's what's taking them so long. Yeah. But I expect any day, maybe tomorrow or the next, like they get done with this event in the next 2 days.
But it's final, right? Because when Monday comes around, I'm going to tell you right now, that's the media day that gets released because everyone's
contracts are signed, bro. Contracts are signed. It's final.
All right. I got to ask you one more thing before we let you go. Are you banging my therapist, bro?
Who's your therapist?
I don't know. It looks like you're in her office, though.
No,
it looks like you're in my therapist's office or something.
He's got to have the good chi going, man.
House, bro, I'm trying to show y'all. I got laundry everywhere and shit. Fight camp's rough, bro. Like my house is a wreck. I was like, let me find the nicest, brightest corner and hide out.
Good, dog. Come on. I
definitely appreciate that part of it because I literally had fighters come on here and you can't see them because they're in a dark room.
Yeah.
Like, there's a new one. All right, we'll make it work.
All right,
man. Josh, always appreciate the time, appreciate the laughs, the insight tonight. Best of skill in the upcoming fight next month. Hopefully, we get the name dropped and we can get even more excited for this fight. What I typically do here at the end is kind of throw the microphone over to you. Anyone you want to thank, shoot at your teammates, social media sites, any sponsors you have, anything you're doing outside of the ring or cage that you want to let the people know about. The time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, man. Mostly it's my sponsors. I've got Flash Wrecker Service. I've got Premier Dirt Work here. And then my gym, obviously, Hardcore MMA. Really just my team, Joel Nettles and Jordan Nash. I appreciate them helping me get ready every day. And other than that, man, appreciate guys like you. Appreciate the media getting me on, getting my name out there. And that's about it.
We'll send you the $100.
It's the name of the game. We all support one another, and that's how we all go along and get along. Some people never get it.
I'll send you my $100 bill after this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in the BKFC now, bro. It's $100 to interview.
I gotta say, Pat Brady's comment was the best. He's like, I don't know what was going on here, but from one fighter or another, I hope you win every fight because one thing I do know about this sport is as soon as you stumble, Mofo is gonna come across this right here and bury you with it.
Oh yeah, every time.
And you know, looking back on it now, like they probably will. Someone will probably come across this and use this as something to bury him after he gets stopped, submitted, choked out, whatever. Someone's gonna use that. It's unfortunate. Yeah. That's not what I attend this for, but hey, you know,
promoting him either way.
He did it to himself.
This is where we are. But Josh, appreciate the time. Definitely need to let us know how everything goes after the fight. We'll get you back on here, have some fun, talk a little bit more crap, shoot some more jokes, all that fun stuff. But appreciate the time tonight. Best of skill. Hopefully, you know, you get through fight camp injury free, so you can do what you got to do come Friday night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the game plan. I appreciate you guys for having me.
It's a pleasure. Have a good one, my friend. Bro. All right, everyone. That was Mr. Joshua Styles, the Hurricane himself. It was definitely a fun one tonight. You know, obviously, just about every one of our interviews went over about like 10, 15 minutes. So.
But all of them were absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why I kind of planned it that way. Like it was the first time having Ian on here with me and you here on Combat Deviants. It's the first time me really talking to him, obviously. You know, great stuff, great insight.
What a story, man! Like,
dude, he needs to like contact someone at Netflix. If I was him, dude,
if he becomes champ, bro,
do a doc, even to where you're at now, dude. It'd be an interesting story.
If he becomes champion, man, that's the best story to ever come out of the UFC, ever.
I mean, middleweight's all up in the air now, and you know, like I said, hopefully now that he's got this on right and everything. Getting his body the way it needs to be.
Oh, Steve,
I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen to him over the next 2 years.
Guess who emailed me at Pure Evil MMA at Gmail?
Who's that?
Paradigm, bro.
Oh yeah, no Paradigm.
Yeah, bro. They're trying to set up interviews for us. So that's a huge one, bro.
Yeah, I know who Paradigm is. That's who manages Chris Cyborg.
And Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, yeah. So you got it. See, Chris was the first one. That's why I never go to Conor. I'm not going to turn coat on Chris just because Conor's the bigger name. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So the
only reason Conor knew who Paradigm was is because of Chris Cyborg. Stop playing with me.
So they got a fighter that wants to come on the show, but it's for next Wednesday. And me and Steve have been doing shows outside of Friday for you guys to know. We have a special one coming up for you as well.
We got one tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, rather.
Who is it?
And then we got another one next week. So we might have a bunch of this nonsense going on because we're freaking wild men.
Yeah, so, deviants.
So tomorrow morning, coming another athlete from Knuckle Mania who made an absolute statement. Already was a guest here on Combat Deviants. You know, one of the weeks where Eddie was MIA having issues with this, that, and the third. Mr. Josh Watson, who had just starched Greg Hardy. That boy does not like to get hit. And trust me, he clipped Josh. Josh had got.
Bro, I hope Greg Hardy's victim, domestic violence victim, every time she sees him gets knocked out, I hope she squirts everywhere.
Eddie, hope she squirts everywhere. Good God, bro.
No, the best thing.
And on that side of things, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, my mother's is someone who is a survivor of domestic violence, and it's not something to joke about. It's not something to make light of.
That's why I can't support Greg Hardy. I can't.
I don't get why. I've said it since the start. I don't know why any combat sport promotion has gotten behind him. I don't know why BKFC
he's going to rehab himself.
You looked at this guy, you can clearly see he does not like to get hit. He likes to be the one dishing out punishment. Yeah, we can see that.
And he had a good run when he first came through. He had a good run.
No, he didn't. They gave him a bunch of canes.
Well, still, he jumped up.
That's my opinion. Anyone who fought him that took a L, I apologize.
But still, yeah, we got a full lineup for you guys. So definitely,
we already have BKFC fighter for next week.
We have
Actually,
Miranda's sister.
I might have one of the celebrity boxers for Damon Feldman's celebrity boxing event that's coming up in the few weeks. I might have a guest for you for that one. Not your normal one, not an athlete. I think if I remember, he's a comedian. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right,
I'm trying to work out that, dot the I's, cross the T's. I sent out a bunch of invites this week. We'll see what happens. Really appreciate Ian's time. Jayme, cannot wait till she gets back in there. Hopefully she starts making some more noise.
Yeah, man. I want to put in on that upper deck crotch rock card.
Oh my God, this fucking kid.
Yeah, we had a good night tonight, though.
Yeah, man. We had a good one tonight. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate even the NFT bombers in our chat room for when we had Ian on for hopping in and keeping the chat alive for that one. And yeah, that's
look at all these.
Eddie's bringing them back up for people who are catching.
Oh, I definitely want to check out Ian's show too. So guys, go check out Ian's show. Something tank. All right, that does it for tonight's episode.
Yeah, that definitely does it for tonight. Hopefully again Alan Belcher is victorious, and we will have Alan back on here on Combat Deviants, win, lose, or draw tonight at some point in time in the next few weeks.
A body.
And Alan is also going to be doing some fun stuff with us for the card grading show. We are going to be doing a lot of fun content moving forward between the interviews, and we still didn't even tell you what we're doing next week's interview, because we do apparently still have a special interview lined up for that one. But again, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, not just Combat Deviant stuff, but our Belly Up Sports stuff as well. The other podcast they have, the written articles from all the writers who are involved with Belly Up. Make sure you're tuning in. I believe we're just a few away from 700 subscribers there on YouTube. So once we hit that, me, Eddie, all the guys are going to come together, and we're going to put together a nice little prize pack for when we hit 1K, and then hopefully within the next week or two we could start announcing the launch date for Hardcore Hobby Talk.
Can't wait. It's been real, y'all.
Other than that, I'm Steve. He's Eddie. This was episode 23 of Combat Deviants, and we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Set them reminders.